guys? What is up? It's your boy Kittens come back to you guys with another video. Me summarizing the first block that I did, some of the stuff that I was using. These little cases, I got like 4 of these Pro Safe ones. They're actually kind of nice. They work for like squished down dual sleeves, but not really for the regular. They work really well for the sleeves that I don't have singled, which is nice. But yeah, so I want to go over my first block in totality and plans for the second one and things like that, and some of the special stuff that I wanted to do. Just generically speaking, on business side, what I really wanted to do is rent out this first block to people that want to learn Magic the Gathering and straight up want a really nice taster of what Magic the Gathering is. And generically speaking, in the video I want to summarize what my first one is. This is just like what I take to Game Store and whatever, just like tokens and like dice and like handful of decks and whatever. But generically speaking, the commanders, this is for second block. This is ones I want to plan and do, and then just sleeves for stuff that generically, it feels weird to have it. It's like sealed product. Oh no, it's like sealed ultra something, probably ultra pro. Yeah, it's just like inward sleeve, so I can just inward sleeve as I change cards. But this is the first block of commanders. A nice little no nonsense. We have Yasharn, Donald, Herald of Wings, Lier, Disciple, Toski, Tiamat, just as a little bit of fun for the dragons, just as an extra commander. The Prismatic Bridge and Morphon to have 2 different 5-color decks in here. And then Galanra, Elena, just for a little bit of partner fun. Krufix stuff for some nice Simic stuff, just not too ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. Flurry and Toxroll, the Corrosive. And the whole idea of these ones is just have a mix of different power levels. For me and my decks, I have a mix of decks that went on like turn 3 to 4 and can kind of like start doing some control-y farm style competitive stuff. And the first block that I'm hoping to, all right, let's do it. Let's summarize the first block, just the whole thing right here. All right, so different power, more or less, like, because, as a thing, I wanted to throw it out there. I have a whole bunch of videos of it, generically speaking, about each one. But the first block is really just meant for me personally to have modular decks to bring to my play group and, have my organizational pile. But in the future, with this first 10, renting it out, generically speaking, it's a really nice balanced block with a whole bunch of generic strategies, a handful of 5-color decks where they're fairly interchangeable in power level, but to most average play groups, you will absolutely terrorize them. Like, you could just randomly be like, yeah, I just want to like win on turn 4, and like, it's kind of difficult to stop me. Unless you're playing like $5,000 dot combo on turn 2 win right now deck. You know what I mean? Like, so, and then there's like, turn 5 I win, but there's nothing you can do about it. Like turn 7 I win, and there's like, generically speaking, you could just terrorize a play group. So having this first block put together as like a fun, no nonsense, block that just shows the generic fun of Magic, where some of the decks are actually like $200. Like this one is like a $200 deck, and it has almost like 20 to 30 counters. It will just, you could straight up pick up like I think this is Toski, that's like a $400 or $500 deck. It will just destroy this deck, because this deck will sit here and need to activate certain things. And then you just go like counterspell, counterspell, counterspell. The $200 deck, like me sitting here, like this one's like $2,000 or $3,000, right? If the main thing that I need to have to like win doesn't go off, like counter, I will sit there just like thinking in my brain about how much I hate you. Like, just like literally 200 times less money, 2 counters, just, yep, you win. Like, I would actually scoop. So just, there's some fun, no nonsense stuff that I'd want to like bring to generic households that, this as a first block really show. And then no nonsense, this is the stuff that I want. Oh yeah, I figure I also would want to explain. When I rented out this first block, a huge bit of it is proxy lands. I actually, no nonsense, want to trade a bunch of stuff out. Collectively speaking, my first block is about $20,000 or so to $30,000, depending on how many proxies are in there. I'm gonna proxy out a whole bunch of the lands to take out a bunch of the $20 to $30 to $40 cards and stuff like that, so that I can basically do that rent out. And then I also basically wanted to only trade for my stuff, and I'm missing like 4 or 5. I basically was like, screw this, Modern Horizons decent, opened like a Scalding Tarn and was like, you know what? I should have just bought a whole set. So I just went out and bought like 8 or 10 of them, and I'm missing like another 4 or 5, and just waiting over time to calculated buy those. And I bought a couple of them on the market dip I got a couple marsh flats that are the really rare retro foil. So really nice, but waiting for the last few, hopefully trading, but I finally broke and was like, screw this, I'm buying them. So no nonsense, I want to rent this out to people that are super ritzy, rich people, or just like, you know, whatnots, to just hold the stuff and, you know, practice and have fun inside of their own families, you know, my friends and this, that, and the other. This will basically be the block that'll hand them and be like, hey, this is a whole bunch of commanders with a whole bunch of flavor and fun that you can win at all the different prices and power levels and this, that, and the other, and I'm just gonna proxy out the lands, you know what I mean? But I want to do a Judge of Valor. One of my original decks, I had kind of this Death and Taxes, just straight up, you know, board wipes for days, like literally 15 board wipes plus like soft recursion engines with life gain stuff. So I wanted to redo a little bit of that with Judge of Valor and straight up just use this plus another handful of black-white commanders for my second block to be really modular. I wanted to do a whole bunch of partner stuff, a whole bunch of tricolor and 4-color stuff. And then try to basically just switch into random partners. And you know, I have a couple that I really want to do, but the Rhyme Staff is one that I want to do for a straight up snow deck, because you can cast them on both sides, and then I actually need to just have them in the middle sleeve. So that actually doesn't make sense to do that. I actually didn't think about that. But yeah, there's another side to this commander where he attacks and you get to untap stuff. So I wanted to play Rhyme Staffs first with like some graveyard stuff and just do some fun building and just really use some fun graveyard engines and recursion engines with all snow stuff. And then Throne of Death is one that I wanted to do for just a mono black deck, because I really don't do a whole bunch of mono black stuff. So I straight up wanted to have, you know, a graveyard recursion engine on a stick, just straight up turn 1, no nonsense, play Throne of Death, start milling yourself, and then eventually get a recursion piece out to play something ridiculous on like turn 2. And yes, I do want to buy Grizzlebrand just to play it, like just a little bit of demon fun, you know? And then I want to have a mono white deck to play either Nadar or Megara the Diplomat. And I know Megara is one of those ones that people say in white is one of the most powerful commanders in existence right now. But I really want to play a bunch of dungeon stuff. Okay, I pulled the Selfless Paladin and I was like, I need to play it. I was like, I can finally do some venturing into the dungeon. Oh wow, hey guys, you know, a little bit of reflection. I shaved my hair, by the way. But yeah, so I just saw that. That's funny. I'm like waving myself around. But the Selfless Paladin, yeah. So that's what I want to do for second block. And I'm excited for that because, well, I guess I'm excited for that because that means I get to finally not do anything. I like organizing, you know, and it's fun to calculate and like write all this crap down. But one of the other things I want to do is use Calamax as a main deck to kind of switch between my partner decks as a tricolor deck, and then I want to grab a couple other 4 colors, this, that, and the other. But I was thinking of doing a light storm engine that takes advantage of instant sorcery stuff, and then try to just generically have it be not too powerful. And I think that those are the words that a lot of people have said about Calamax. And then, you know, a couple of my partner commanders are definitely going to be Ever Faithful. I think that'll be really fun to put a whole bunch of my legendaries into a couple decks. And then I also want to use Triton Hero and Chosen of Krufix, because I've always generically, like, I put these behind my my Krufix deck, just straight up to like switch these out if I got bored, because this is one of my just straight up original decks that I've played for years and years and years, and that's why it has so much stuff in it. And straight up, like, I've never actually played them. Like, I played them, but it just doesn't work in the deck as well as I'd always wanted to. So I want to do, I was thinking about the Storm guy. I think his name's Ludovic or something. I still have almost all of them. I traded off, like, the one Vial guy, I think. But I was thinking about doing the blue-red one, because then I could switch that out with Calamax and do, like, Thrasios, plus the blue-red or Krydell. But then I also want to do a tricolor with the white, and I'm not sure what I want to do for more partners. I basically want to select a whole bunch of partners and then have a couple things like Calamax, where it's like I can select a couple and then just have a base deck that has a couple of really good cards that I can just switch out the commander strategies. And I really want to use a whole bunch of white cards in this block and a whole bunch of black cards in this block, because the other block I use like a whole ton of green ramp, just green ramp all day, like green, let's go, smash in with big stuff, board wipe once or twice, hope for the best. Like nothing crazy, nothing too combo-y, but this one I want a whole bunch of like graveyard engines, I want a bunch of spot removal, like I want like 5 swords to plowshares. It's gonna be nasty. And then I, you know, but like, you know, obviously like choosing what I want to do for, you know, the next block of fun and investing in stuff. And this one, you know, I want to turn around and do some fun organizing in my own stuff and start offering this up to people that are, you know, millionaires and billionaires and want to have some fun inside of their home. Maybe, you know, the first few for free. I actually messaged a whole bunch of people that I thought would be really cool to generically share this idea as a fun thing for investment-wise stuff, family stuff, and also just generically having a bunch of fun with something that's expensive, that you can win with something expensive, but you could also lose with something expensive and win with something cheap, lose with something cheap. There's a lot of great morals in Magic the Gathering, but for me as a person that's loved investment and money and hated my family, it works. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. And generically speaking, the summary of the first block and, you know, more or less the decks that are out, this is the Florian deck, but the decks that are out are just ones that, oh, there's a light giant theme. Oh my gosh, yeah, this deck is so much fun. But yeah, but generally speaking, I just use this to bring to the store, so I'm not carrying around like $20,000-$30,000 worth of stuff. Because as I was building stuff, I literally, the only thing that I actually like bought was the one deck for the elementals, which is one of these. Something like that. So hope you guys have enjoyed. I don't know, it's one of those things where I'm trying to contour what I spend. And I know generically speaking, when a random 20-year-old goes on the internet and is like, hey, look at all this stuff, it's like, that's awkward. So it's awkward for me. I don't like being all like, I have all this stuff. I don't even like counting it, to be honestly. I don't even like organizing it. This is turning into a self-memoir. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys are actually interested in doing this, I posted a previous video about a business email, but frankly speaking, you can always just hit me up on Instagram. A handful of the people that I actually just private message, just please do, you know, if you're interested, absolutely free use of this to actually get this idea going as a potential business thing over the next 5 to 10 years. You know, have people rent out blocks to people like Post Malone and artists and people with, you know, like the Will Smiths of the world that just want to have their kids bullshit around, no nonsense, and have some fun and do investment crap. You know what I mean? But like, you know, they're like, their kids are like adults now. You know what I mean? I don't know. Things like that. So I hope you guys enjoy, like, subscribe, this, that, and the other. And it's been your boy Pitt. Yeah, kittens. Peace.